What's up, brothers? This is OuweSok, and it's been a while, but I'm bringing out another Battle Brothers video. I'm going to be reviewing the Reforged mod and providing you my opinion and input on whether this mod is worth your time. It's been a while because I've been playing something else than Battle Brothers the last 1-2 months for two reasons. Reason one is that I was completely tilted with Battle Brothers Reforged. As you've seen in a previous video, there's this promised potential mechanic, and I ran so utterly terrible in this mechanic that I just gave up on this mod for quite some time. I mean, you should get like 50% of your promised potential brothers would realize their potential, but for me it was like 1 in 3 at the most. It was quite devastatingly run bad. And the other reason is that I've been playing Civilization 4 for 2 months, putting a lot of hours into it. Getting back into the Civilization franchise because next month, in February, Civilization 7 will come out, and I will be jumping on that game on day one. And hopefully it's good enough to provide some content on Civilization 7 in the near future. So watch out for that if you are a Civilization fan. So, but let's get back to it, to the Reforged mod review. For me, as a conclusion, I prefer Battle Brothers Vanilla over Reforged. I think Battle Brothers Vanilla is a more balanced and more tight game than Reforged. Reforged allows you to build some more spectacular brothers, like Legends, the other mod. Also allows for spectacular stuff happening, but in general it's not quite as balanced and tight as the Battle Brothers Vanilla. So if you're new to Battle Brothers, unlikely if you watch this video, but if you're new to Battle Brothers, I recommend you play Vanilla, and only if you have seen everything in Vanilla and yeah, then it becomes interesting to play Reforged so that you can test out the entire new perk system. So that's really the appeal of Reforged, is the completely overhauled perk system. So let's start reviewing this a bit, the perk system. So these are all the new perks. They are divided into perk groups. So every brother will start with an X amount of perk groups, like 8 or 10 or 11. Lowborns usually have less perk groups available than the highborns. And if you are assigned a perk group, then you get all the perks in that group. And additionally, you will also get some random different perks assigned that come from other perk groups, so that every brother will have a unique feel, and every brother will provide specific challenges and specific builds that you can create. So really in Legends, in Reforged as well as in Legends, no two brothers will be the same. What I like about the new perk system is that the specific weapons now not only have the mastery, but also 2 additional perks that are just only valid for this specific weapon type. And this has made it possible to kind of rebalance weapons in Battle Brothers. The spear perks, the 2 additional spear perks, are really good. You really want to build some spearmen, especially in the early game. The sword perks are also very good. And for example, the best 2-handed weapons, the axe and the mace, and the hammer, the 2 extra perks are kinda meh. You don't really need them. So what this has caused is that weapons are now more balanced. It's not that big a difference as with vanilla Battle Brothers. So that's a positive change to the perks, in my opinion. A couple of changes I don't like is, for example, the change to quick hands. Where's quick hands? Here. So quick hands now doesn't allow you to switch from one 200 melee weapon to another 200 melee weapon. That is basically the death of pole weapons. You are no longer able to switch from a 200 mace to a pole mace, or hammer to a pole hammer, or from your axe to a long axe. It's just not possible. And since these weapons are quite unimpressive on their own, basically you stop using them anymore. There's no, besides some niche uses like for new recruits that have a specific weapon mastery but are not capable yet of being frontliners, you can equip them with the long version, the reach version, and put them in the backline. And maybe in fights like Alps, you can use these reach versions. But basically, the change to quick hands has killed an entire category of weapons, and I don't see any pros. So that's a change that I just really dislike. Another change I dislike is that all your brothers get recover for free. Not sure what exactly is the reason, but it makes the game less tight. So, for example, tanks or all your one-handers that really like recover, they just get this for free. So it makes it easier to complete a build. You don't have to make compromises. You don't have to think, can I squeeze in fearsome for this brother? Can I squeeze in killing frenzy? Do I have a perk available to add fortified mind or something like this? Because you get one perk for free that you like to have on these kind of brothers. You have 11 perks, and it makes building a brother less tight. You have to make less compromises, and it's easier. So yeah, I like this agonizing choice between two perks and making it easier to build a brother. For me, that takes away a lot of the appeal of a game, and especially because perks don't stop at level 11. At level 15, 19, 23, etc., every fourth level, you get an additional perk. So it becomes much easier to complete a brother, to build them as you would like, and less strategy really. Your brothers will be better. So if you like overpowered brothers, and if you like to build a magnificent lone wolf, then maybe this is something that you like. But for me, it reduces the strategy in building your brothers, and it reduces the agonizing choices that you have to make as you have to do in vanilla Battle Brothers. So for me, this is not an improvement, and the additional perks that you get for leveling up also, I don't quite like it. A perk that has been changed as well is, which is quite relevant, is Duelist. I like this change. So now Duelist can also be used with shields. Duelist can also provide bonuses for two-handed weapons that have an attack of 4 AP, so like the two-handed scimitar. And it no longer works for throwing weapons. So if you want the extra bonus for extra armor penetration bonus for throwing weapons, is now put into Bullseye. Bullseye now is a mandatory perk for any kind of ranged brother. So I think Duelist has been improved, and so yeah, I like this. Another thing that you will find when you are building your brothers in Reforged is you will miss Colossus on a lot of brothers. And Colossus really has very few replacements in Reforged. There is this perk, Fruits of Labor, which adds 10% extra hit points, but there's no other perks. Yeah, maybe what's it called? Where is it? Can't find it anymore. There. Gifted also adds some life points, some hit points. But basically you are going to have a lot of brothers with low-ish hit points. So for example, this bro is level 18, only has 89 hit points, so I gave him elite armor to make him survive. So missing out on Colossus is a pain, and you will have more fragile brothers when you're building your team. So yeah, it's you get things in return, of course. But yeah, I kind of like if I have a good brother level 11 that I try to keep them around, and losing them is a pain really. So that's something you have to be considering. If you are looking for a good endgame brothers, then Colossus is often going to be a very important boost. What I like is that if you are using the tryout option for a brother, so here tryout, you will not only get the attributes of the brother, but also it will tell you all the perks. So before buying a brother, you can figure out if this brother has the perks that you need, that you can build the brother that you were trying to build. So for example, if you find a farmhand with sure footing, you can check out if he's actually going to be able to make a tank out of it. So if he doesn't have shield mastery, then you don't need to hire him, and you can spend your money elsewhere. So it will be relevant for you to learn all the perks and figure out before hiring a brother if this brother is going to be suitable. Sometimes you find brothers with the wrong weapon perks. You don't find the right. You want to build a thrower from a hunter, but he doesn't have throwing mastery, so you can just directly discard him. So that's useful. Yeah, anything else about the perks? No, I don't really want to be spoiling them, so I think I provided the most important changes to perks. So for me, this is the reason for you to play Battle Bros Reforged, just to try out new builds, new brothers, new perks, and yeah, some new things to figure out, which is always interesting. All right, other changes that I absolutely hate is the change that it made to shields. Shields are now practically unbreakable. The reason that they did this is that the human player basically never used the option to break shields. But break shields was a valid strategy for barbarians and for orcs, and you're taking that away. And by taking that away, also you take away a lot of strategy. So, for example, your tanks, they can now go into a battle with orcs and with barbarians with a single shield that has 300 durability. So normal guide shields, for example, they have 200, and then the CPAR shields from the nomads, they used to be 18-18, they are now 25-10. So they are impressive melee shields with practically unbreakable. So that makes, for example, the Gilder's Embrace, which is the shield that you can get from the Sunken Library, a lot worse. If you have like this shield, what I have here, is a famed CPAR shield with a whopping 34 melee defense. You don't need the Gilder's Embrace anymore. Here I have another one, 30 melee defense. So yeah, the Gilder's Embrace just practically loses its appeal. It's maybe useful for fights where you want to have both melee defense as well as range defense. For example, against whatever nomads with desert stalkers or nobles where they have their nasty heavy crossbow guys. But yeah, basically the Gilder's Embrace was an amazing shield, and Vanilla Battle Brothers is now not that amazing anymore. So not a fan of this. Now you just equip your tanks with one shield, and don't worry, you don't have to think about putting in additional shields. You don't have to worry about your shields being broken. you have to search for orc shields with additional melee defense and additional durability. Orc famed shields are now total and utter crap. You can just immediately sell them because they are just completely useless. They are way too heavy and they don't provide any kind of benefit at all. So I don't like this change. It just makes some strategic decisions, some valuable items have just lost their value. So not a fan, absolutely not. Let's see, there were some new weapons. I don't use any of them. So all my brothers have traditional vanilla Brother Brothers weapons. There's the pole flail and there's a pole cleaver, but they're just not good enough to use. The pole cleaver has the problem that you cannot use this configuration at all. So you cannot use quick hands. So if you want to use this pole cleaver, then you need to combine it with a one-handed cleaver. This would work. So there's new weapons, but they're not very good. Means also the famed weapons you find are often not very good because you get weapons you don't really need. So yeah, that's a lot of design time that's for me wasted. The Barbarian Cleaver has been nerfed. The Barbarian Cleaver now is 6 AP for the attack. Means you don't get the benefit from Duelist, and it basically now goes on the same pile as the Barbarian Mace and the Barbarian Hammer. They're basically not very good. So my Icy Cave Cleaver, I just sold it. I just prefer to have even the non-famed two-handed scimitar works better for me. So that's also not a very good change, I think. Let's see what else. There's a lot of small changes. There are some changes to the factions. Several factions have been made better. Goblins, for example. All the goblin weapons, the spear and the swords, now attack for 3 AP. And so that means that now the goblins that you are engaged with will attack 3 times. And that's actually quite nasty. So I used to not worry about a Battlefrost brother being surrounded by 2 or 3 goblins. But now you have to be quite a lot more careful because they all attack 3 times. That will cost you more fatigue and you'll be hit more. So they are quite a lot nastier now with these weapons. While it doesn't really help the human player when you have like famed versions, they are still quite unimpressive weapons. So it helps the goblins, doesn't really help you. So the goblins became quite a bit nastier. So that's a good change for me. Also, they changed brigands a lot. We used to have brigand thugs and brigand raiders, which was really a big step up from thugs to raiders. Now there's a lot more brigands. You have brigand vandals, you have brigand robbers, marauders, pillagers, scoundrels, outlaws, highwaymen. Brigands. And for me, all these brigands don't really add a lot of value. For me, a single new level up, like just a brigand outlaw, and give them plus 15 in all the stats. Give them maybe nimble or something. Make them just severely much more tougher. Make something that is the step from thug to raider and from raider to this new raider would be more or less the same step up. So maybe make them like all equally strong as a brigand leader, for example. But no, they just put a lot of different brigands, and yeah, I failed to see the value. But brigands, they got a little tougher, but not that much really. So I would have liked to see one really very much improved brigand rather than a lot of various types. Undead, ancient undead have been improved. There's more types now. I think the Black Monolith, for example, has become a tougher legendary location. Nobles got a lot better. If the noble crisis is your first crisis, then you will find out that the battles are really a lot tougher. Yeah, I think barbarians didn't get improved. They got nerfed actually with the I think cleaver. The normal undead with the necromancers didn't get improved much. So I think these are the most important improvements of the factions, enemy factions. There's still a bunch of little changes that are not really worth spending time on. Some I liked, some I didn't like. So for example, first turn initiative. In the first term, if you have less than 80 initiative, you will lose ability points on turn 1, and you will get them back on turn 2. You'll get back to your normal 9 AP. And if you have more than 120 initiative, you will gain points. So I don't really see the value of this new mechanic. Also, encumbrance is a mechanic that you lose fatigue every turn if your fatigue is below a certain number. This is because the people who designed Reforged didn't like the fatigue neutral builds. I have no problem with fatigue neutral builds. They are not very strong anyway. You want better blooders who can at some time in the battle attack twice, or various times at the battle attack twice, rather than a brother that hits once per turn and ends his turn. It's just not really strong, so there was no need at all to nerf this. So that's a change I don't like very much, but okay. Yeah, I think these were the most important changes. So for me, the turn offs of this mod were really too many perks, making it too easy to build your brothers. Take out some strategy. The unbreakable seals took out some strategy. The change in quick hands just removed the need for pole weapons. All these changes were really significant, and for me, made this mod not very enjoyable. So I enjoyed the figuring out the new perks. It was an extra 300 or 400 hours of Battle Brothers. I played like 2,400 hours of vanilla. I played like 600 hours of Legends and 400 hours of Reforged. So I'm at 3,400 hours now, and I think that's enough for a lifetime. So yeah, that's my opinion of the Legends mod. Check it out if you want. It's certainly worth your time. It's certainly worth to at least run one campaign and check out these perks and play around with them. So I hope you learned something from this video. I hope it was useful for you. I wish you good luck playing Battle Brothers, and who knows, maybe see you next time when I'm starting my first Civilization 7 videos. Have a good one. Bye bye.